West Michigan. Join the conversation now at 616-774-2424. That's 616-774-2424. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on Wood Radio.
What a big day. A lot going on. Not only just here in our own backyard, but across the pond over in France with the frogs and the G7 countries meeting. Of course, President Trump there. More news coming out even as we speak this morning. They've had nearly a day there as they get through it all. We'll have the latest headlines out of that. Gavin Newsom in trouble, sort of.
News, weather, and traffic. Stories of the day. We're talking about what matters most in West Michigan and beyond. This is the Big Three. Now today's Big Three.
Stories are more on the way. Plus a Tech Talk Tuesday today. The latest in AI. The data center debate rages on and more. All coming up this morning on West Michigan Live, powered by our good friends at Heartland Home Mortgage. The Big Three today. Dave Galloway and the team ready to help you whether you want to buy, refi, home equity line of credit. That's their Big Three, and they can help you walk through each and every step to find what's right for you. The solutions that'll save you thousands like they did for us and so many others that listen to this program. HHMlending.com. Reach out today.
Number one.
Well, he's under investigation. Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, confirming the DOJ has been investigating him and his wife, and he's not happy about it. He went on a long rant the other day about this, and the video is, well, he's on the verge of tears, really, at some point. And I got some of this we'll play for you now, but some of it we'll listen to it later. But he'd have you believe that Trump is out to get him, folks.
In recent days, federal agents have knocked on the doors of family, friends, and former employees. Not because they found a crime, because they're simply trying to find one.
Well, take it up with the Biden administration, because the story he's not telling you is this whole investigation didn't start under Trump. It started under Biden.
Number two.
Yeah, the Biden administration looking into him and his family. Now, I've got some inside scoop on this I think you might find interesting as well. There's tax charges and some other issues, but even CNN sort of weighing in saying, the news is not really telling you the truth about all this. 8 crew members in a tragedy dead after a B-52 bomber crashed at Edwards Air Force Base. Those 8 crew members and some working in the research department, I believe, of Boeing as well. Not sure exactly what the mission was on this airplane, although we are learning more about it. As the details come out, we'll make sure that we keep you updated as far as the latest. Praying for those folks, their families, and all involved. You've been hearing this story all morning long. Meetings in Lowell Township drawing overflow crowds last night over proposed Microsoft data center plans there, forcing rescheduling in both those meetings due to the resident turnout. Concerns focused on water use, energy demands, noise, and transparency. Similar packed sessions have caused delays in proceedings in months. But the situation this time around is that data centers weren't even on the table. They weren't up for discussion last night. Residents said, yeah, that's okay. We can talk about this anyway. And didn't really go as well as they would have planned. And the monkey wrench sort of in the plans there. Not enough room. This is not a situation that you're going to get answered, like right away. But folks aren't backing down, and the conversation continues there. We'll talk about that coming up on our Tech Talk as well. You can join the program anytime, 616-774-2424 on West Michigan Live. Gavin Newsom on the verge of tears.
They're demanding records. They're abusing the grand jury process, digging through years and years of random documents. Donald Trump isn't just coming after me because of my mean tweets. He's coming after me because I'm considering running for president, because he hates that I've consistently called him out over and over again for his lies and deceit. Donald Trump is simply the most corrupt president in American history.
Now, I'm going to tell you why he's actually not as sad as he seems. There are some folks who, they conjecture that he actually wanted this to happen. He wanted it to happen under Trump. They started the investigation under the Biden administration, and there were some now talking about the fact that he said, apparently in all of this, as it was moving forward, that, hey, we understand we're under investigation, but can you hold it off after Trump won until Trump gets down? Here's why. I'm going to tell you why this is so flawed. They get it wrong every time. It's not just Democrats or Republicans that do this too. But they see something that worked for Trump or worked for the right, and they think to themselves, oh, we've got to do this. It happened in 24 when Trump won. They said, well, the podcasters got him elected. So they say, we got to get us our own Joe Rogan. Now, that wasn't the case. Podcasters didn't solely get Trump elected. Didn't hurt, though. Didn't hurt. I'll tell you what was more likely. The podcasters jumped on. In fact, you remember Rogan at the end of the deal, kind of like, I think it was a day before the election, came through with his endorsement. I don't think they necessarily caused the momentum to happen, but they jumped on the train, and the momentum was already rolling. A lot of people do the same thing when they want to try and communicate like Trump. You'll see them kind of take on the same. In fact, Newsom's doing this right now. This is really, if you break it down to sort of a spiritual level, I'm realizing this now. It's kind of like biblically, if you look at God and the creative forces of what he is and who he is and what he does, essentially, he is the creation force. The enemy can't create. So what the enemy does is the enemy mimics. The enemy sort of is a poser. So Gavin Newsom, very interesting here, and I'm not calling him, well, you think what you want, but what I'm saying is there's no, he's not being himself here. He's trying to take on the persona of Donald Trump. What this worked for Trump, so I'm going to do this. So what does he do? He comes out with the mean tweets. You remember when he first sort of launched this platform to run for president? He came out with his own podcast. First, that was sort of like he was going to just be like, he's going to go on podcast. Sean Hannity had him on. A few, maybe even Rogan. I can't remember. There was a few people that, and he came out as just being very, very common sense, sort of reasonable sort of guy. Then all of a sudden you started seeing these mean tweets because the reasonable sort of common sense approach from him didn't really move the needle. Because what does move the needle online is all the back and forth. It is the controversy. It is the bickering. It is the division. It is the polarity. That's what makes you go viral. So I'm sure it wasn't him because he didn't know how to do this or even understand what I'm sure Twitter or any of those things are. But what they did is the team started tweeting these Trump-esque sort of tweets. And now you're watching this play out where Gavin Newsom has essentially decided that this is the best. Because remember, the DOJ didn't come out and announce this. He did. He came out and made the big announcement. I'm under investigation.
He's turned the levers of government into his own personal power ministries to reward cronies and to try to jail his opponents. His personal attorney now runs the Department of Justice, which has repeatedly gone after his political enemies.
Rhonda nails it on the chat. Newsom doesn't say the investigation started under Biden. Well, that'd be a little too convenient, wouldn't it? Or inconvenient for him. Of course he wouldn't. He wouldn't say that at all. This is all about Trump trying to get him. The investigation is illegitimate. And I listen, I don't know. Maybe they'll get him or his wife on something. I don't. I hope they do. I hope they start locking some of these people up. I really do. But everything they do is fake. Fake bomb threats. All of the rest of the Democrats, all of it, every single thing that's pushed, hoax after hoax after hoax. It's all fake news. And in this scenario, I find it rather unlikely. In fact, the fact that they're looking at him and he's going to come out and announce his run at some point. And of course, they think the way they've got this optically set up as well, if you look at it, he's got like a seal that looks like, it's the state of California there. And then he's got like the flags in the background. It's made them make him look like he's presidential. Again, it's a story that I can play you the crocodile tears. I mean, how long is this? About 4 or 5 minutes. I can play you more of his crocodile tears, but I'd rather get to more from the G7 and what's happening. President Trump, some of the latest news that's come out of it. But I do want you to be aware of it because the one piece he won't acknowledge, and it's most likely that the media won't acknowledge this either as they're talking about this story, is that it all started under the Biden administration. Now, do I want to see him investigated? Yeah. If there's a there where there's smoke, there's fire. Let's get that thing rolling. I want to see it. I want to see everyone held accountable that has any sort of issue. Look, if you've been engaged in waste, fraud, and abuse, like we've seen in Minnesota, and we know the levels are just as, probably even worse, maybe even the worst they could be in California. And it's not just the fraud when it comes to, all the money, the hospice, all of the Medicaid, Medicare, all of that. It's not just those pieces of there's election fraud happening out there too. Anyway, I want to see it all. I want to see all of these folks held accountable. Lock them up. In the meantime, I'm not going to hold my breath. I don't know about you. Back after this, don't go anywhere. It's West Michigan Live. Go to the G7 and the latest from Trump and what's inside the rundown. In fact, market's reacting this morning too. After this.
Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Here are your headlines from the Midwesterner this Tuesday, June 16th. I'm Robin Hoffman. An illegal alien from India facing felonies that could send him to prison for decades. This after police foiled a plot to steal $700,000 from an elderly West Michigan woman. The scam involving people in India who convinced this woman her Social Security funds were being used for terrorism and that she should purchase $700,000 in gold so authorities could track the criminals. Somehow, the 79-year-old admits she was convinced. In other news, they are out and proud at the library, a Michigan state-funded library group saving the Southgate Pride function after the city refuses to pay for the advocacy-related event. And a wild day on Wall Street as the markets react to news of President Trump's deal with Iran, a new record high as the Dow gains 469 points to close at 51,671. For these stories and more, visit the Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
When it comes to finding the right truck.
All right, folks, they're rolling full speed ahead, and we appreciate you being here with us for today. And yeah, man, oh man, if you haven't done it yet, get into it. Lock in. We appreciate you joining the program, and you can. If you're joining us right now, click share, whether you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, X, Rumble, Get Our Locals, YouTube, and you're going to get something cool. You could be in the running for something sweet from inside the Justin store. We got all kinds of America 250 gear here and ready to rock inside at justinbarclay.com/store. Now, anybody who clicks share today, got to get in the running for one of those cool shirts or maybe a mug or a tumbler, whatever you'd like. We'll put you on that list. Over on the Freedom Fam today, over on Locals, Gritter, Dean, Hammy, good to see you this morning. Are you tired of winning? Never. We never get tired of winning. Over there on Rumbles, thank you so much. Such a time as this. TK, good to see you. History Diggers, Jen Lynn, thank you all for sharing. That definitely helps us move the needle if you're on the book as well. Twitter, wherever you are. Sean, thank you so much. Lady Vu over on Twitter. Sherry, good to see you. Jason, Tammy, Sherry. John over on the tube. Thank you, guys. We're back on the air and rolling full speed ahead. My oldest was begging yesterday. I'm going to ride my bike. You know, the weather's been nicer. It's going to be nice, I guess, throughout the, let's say, cooler anyway, throughout the week. We'll be dodging some rain today. Looks like this afternoon. So we'll keep an eye on that for you as well. Maybe have a chance of some storms tomorrow rolling in. Stick with us for the tops on that. But yeah, she's like, let's go ride. I want to go ride the bike. Let's go. You know, it's funny because whether it's the pool or the beach, the cottage, riding the bike, whatever it is this summer, kids are all fired up. They're ready for it. And it doesn't matter too. I don't know if you ever noticed this, but it's never too cold to go in the pool for the kid. They always want to swim. I don't know where we lost, somewhere along the line, we lost whatever that was. Because the temperatures have to be sort of like perfect nowadays to make that happen. But they want to play. They want to have fun. They're soaking it up. And the last thing you want to be is sort of stick in the mud. You don't want to be, stuck in your trap. And if you're suffering, like grandma or grandpa or parents, mom, dad, look, if you've got foot, back, leg issues, and you're not doing the things that you want to be doing, one stop into the Good Feet store could change it all. It did for me. Walk in today on 28th Street or in front of Costco or in Portage on Westnedge in front of Kohl's. And man, oh man, you're going to love how you feel, whether at work or play. You got to get back to confidence. You got to get back to comfort. And you can today at the Good Feet store. All right. I've got some serious AI conversations we're going to have with you coming up a little bit after the bottom of the hour news here at 9:30. We're going to talk about the latest there. There's a company called Anthropic. They have And this is probably something to mention here. It's a pretty big deal. They have some sort of new programming. We'll call it a model that they've got out there, and it's so good. It's so good that the government has said you can't export that. We don't want our enemies to be able to use that sort of content and that sort of model because it's just so good. In fact, they've been calling it a weapon. We're going to talk about that story. Some of the bigger clips on that and more coming up. Now, the Iran deal is front and center at the G7. President Trump is there right now in France. What's inside the Iran deal? We don't exactly know. Some reporters may or may not have been given some of the details from folks like President Trump himself. Yesterday, Jesse Waters, I think on the 5, gave a little bit of a rundown on what exactly is inside of it.
I've been briefed on the deal, and it's pretty simple. You immediately upon signing, the Strait opens up, and there's no tolling, and there's no money exchanged. And you're going to get traffic probably restored within the next 2 to 3 weeks. What really made a difference were the airstrikes Monday and Tuesday. And
like I said,
Operation Freedom was covertly bringing oil out. So the Iranians lost all their leverage over the Strait. But the most significant part of the deal is that the Iranians have signed in principle to agree for the complete destruction and removal of the uranium. Right now, they can't get it. They have no access to it. It's buried a skyscraper's length deep underground. All 3 sites are inaccessible. And the United States is the only country with the technical expertise to be able to remove it. So we're going to remove it along with the IAEA, and we're going to destroy it, and we're going to bring it out of the country. And then and only then will there be sanctions relief. Also, they're not going to get any sanctions relief if they continue to fund terrorism. If Hezbollah attacks the Jews have a right to defend themselves, but they will not be getting any sanctions relief. So they have to keep Hezbollah on a leash. And we will maintain our military posture until they give up the dust. That is the deal. And all the details of the MOU are going to be released on Friday after the signing. And the bigger thing in terms of like a regional peace deal, all of these Gulf nations have agreed to invest $300 billion to rebuild the energy infrastructure of Iran. Because
that's the latest scam, by the way. That's the latest hoax. The latest hoax on all of this, Democrats, the media, but I repeat myself, are pushing that somehow American taxpayer money is going to be spent, invested in Iran. It's just not the case. So that's some of what's being talked about. But again, some of this is a keep your powder dry moment because, again, you don't know until the thing's signed on Friday exactly what's inside of it. They'll release all of it. In the meantime, boy, the oil barrel prices are dropping. And for the first time in a long time, I guess, at the beginning of this whole thing, the 2 months, Our gas prices have gone below national average of below $4 a gallon. So it's moving, and it may not be as fast as you want it, but it is moving. So we'll take that, and we've seen prices fall here as well. Where it could go, Trump says, into huge territory coming up. In the days ahead, we'll have the latest for you. Stick with us and stay in touch. Truth, logic, and common sense. More of it ahead in our Tech Talk segment after this on West Michigan Live.
Where the truth isn't negotiable. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
We all have someone we love, like the favorite lyric in our favorite song. You can't imagine life without them. So tell them today, I love you. Get screened. It could help save their life. Visit cancer.org/getscreened to learn more.
Now, the latest news from West.
3:56 here yesterday. Keith, where are you at again? Holy smokes. That's not bad. Not bad, as they say. 335 in Tennessee. We heard somebody filled up for 309 yesterday in Florida. Trent is in the field. Let's get to him standing by on location in the mobile studio. Affordable Life Store.
That's right, Justin. How we sounding over here?
Hey, sound good. You look good. I think you're going to be good. I don't know if it's you're probably holding your phone or your computer or something. I don't know if it's possible if you can raise it up a little. Yeah, there you go. Just so you're on par with me. We're even with each other there. I don't want you to be too low.
Don't worry, Justin. Everybody knows where you stand.
What's that?
Everybody knows where you stand.
I just want you to look good. Hang on, folks. Trent's doing a little bit. I don't want anybody to get too dizzy here.
There you go.
There you go. All right. Stand by, folks. The latest in that story in just moments. Trent looking good. You got a haircut and everything. Wow.
Hope there's some left.
Looking fresh. I hear you, man. Hang on one second. Here's Trump talking about the Iran deal and what's in it. When you're going to find out, I think he plans to have a press conference. I think he might even have that thing read at some point.
Our Navy, because the naval blockade was unbelievable. But I'll not only release it, I'll probably have a press conference and read it to you word by word, so that the press covers it accurately. Because it's a very important document, and unlike Obama, who could have destroyed the Middle East with a horrible JCPOA, it is the worst agreement. That was a road to a nuclear weapon. Mine is a wall against a nuclear weapon. I mean, I see these people say, but we already had one. That was the worst. He paid a fortune for it. We pay nothing. We don't pay. There was some statement, we're going to spend $300 billion. No. We're allowed to go and invest if we wanted to someday in the future. We have no obligation whatsoever. It could be that Iran will turn out to be successful when they have oil. But if we left a week ago, just left, before the last two attacks, it would have taken them 20 years to rebuild Iran.
There you have it. That's the latest from the president. And what are we looking at? Trump oil plummeting down. By the way, crude oil just dropped down into the 70s, I believe it is. Yeah. Oil prices by the barrel just dropped down into the 70s. I'll bring it up a little clearer on the screen for you there. Somebody emailed me this morning. It's so funny. I think it was Bernie. Bernie, was that you? Somebody emailed me this morning and said, man, these gas stations are gouging. You know, the price of a barrel down to $80 right now. They're like, he said, well, I understand he's a little upset about that. I get it. He said, it's just, I said, it takes a little time to catch up. But it will. And I said the other thing, which is now, I didn't realize it would be that quick. But I said, just wait. It's going to be down into the 70s. Hang on, let me pull this up. I literally just wrote this morning. Just wait. It'll be down into the 70s is what I said. Did I delete it? Maybe I cleared it out. And here we are. Yeah, gas gouging. Bernie writes, 80 oil is at 80 a barrel, gas $4 a gallon. I see that gas gouging is alive. What is up with these gas gouging? And then here's the word he used. What does it take to get off of $4 a gallon? I think you're seeing that happen. And I said, I hear you. It's moving down now. The national average just dropped under 4, which is the story that I had for you today. Another big story, right? I just shared that with you. Great news. I expect the barrel cost to drop into the 70s, maybe even this week. And then I told him I filled up for 387 yesterday in Spring Lake, which I was happy about. But there it is. I expect the barrel cost to drop into the 70s. So Bernie, if you're listening, I know we didn't have a bet on it, but man, oh man, that feels nice. I'm glad to see it, and hopefully that'll get some of these stations to move these prices down even further. When will we see it at the pump? I would argue some places you're already seeing it, Carol. I don't know specifically where you are and what that looks like, but it's coming. Hang on, folks. Back on the air.
Lock in your preset now on the free iHeartRadio app.
The world is listening. Hey, it's Glenn Beck, and you're listening to West Michigan Live with our good friend, Justin Barclay. The Glenn Beck program coming up at 10 on Wood Radio.
A big breaking news. Oil is now dropped into the $70 range per barrel. The Dow on the rise for the fourth day in a row. And all of that on the way. We'll check in with the markets coming up. But big news, as we heard earlier, gas prices nationwide now under $4 a gallon for the first time in a couple of months as well. Stories you won't hear anywhere else, I'm sure. Prices at the pump starting to move. Some folks already seeing it. You may not see it yet. You just might have to look around for the best deals. But I'm seeing it under $4 a gallon where I'm at. And West Michigan's kind of wacky because the prices are kind of all over the road, literally. And there's so many different reasons for that. But if you want it cheaper, just hang in there. It's coming, but it already might be there in some places. So just a heads up, and the latest on that story. We're going to dig in. We got lots to talk about today in our Tech Talk segment. Our good friend Trent Kennedy from Affordable Ice Store, Lake Michigan Drive in Standale joins us now.
Hack into the latest in tech and how it affects you and your world. This is Tech Talk Tuesday on Wood Radio's West Michigan Live.
It's all AI. That's at the front of the conversation. Essentially, when we're talking tech all the time, whether it's the data centers or the latest story, this latest is just really wild. Trent Kennedy, Affordable Ice Store, AffordableIceStore.com, and Lake Michigan Drive, and then Grand River Tech, GrandRiverTech.com, joining us now with the latest. And Trent, good morning. This story, when I heard it yesterday, I don't hear anybody else talking about this, but it's a massive story. There are a couple of big AI companies. You got OpenAI, which is ChatGPT. You got Google, right? Meta's trying to work on some things. Everybody's doing something, but big AI companies. One of them is called Anthropic. Anthropic's got a history. They go back and forth with the Pentagon, what the Pentagon was going to allow them to do and what they weren't. Anthropic is the company that has Claude. You hear about Claude, or that's the company that Anthropic. They've got a new model out, Claude Fable 5 and Mythos 5. And just days after they launched this model, the government ordered the company to block access for all foreign nationals over national security concerns tied to potential jailbreaks and cyber risk, forcing a global shutdown. They had to actually, because they weren't able to decide, well, how do we find out who's a citizen here and how do we figure that out? So they had to shut the whole thing down. And they are having a heck of a time with it right now. We want to break the story down, why it's so big. One of the reasons is because the government believes that Anthropic has even made this case at different points. But the government believes that this new AI, this model that they've launched, and actually two of them, one is like a little more consumer friendly than the other, and then the other is like a little more industrial strength, so to speak. And it's weapons grade, and the government says you can't really have that out there for some of our enemies to get a hold of. This is a big story, Trent.
Yeah, Justin, this is a huge story because the government essentially is responsible for shutting down a massive AI model. And granted, this happened very quickly, right? It wasn't like a whole bunch of people were actively using this model for weeks and months in their workflow. So I think it's wise for them to pull it quickly. But Justin, the underlying reason here is simple and scary. They're coding ability with these new model is so powerful that it can show up vulnerabilities, something like 73% of vulnerabilities it can pull out in systems that are substandard for internet security. So what that means by substandard, think about a smart stick, a smart TV, a home wireless network router, an IP camera, pretty much anything that's wireless or wired to the internet that doesn't have a company behind it that automatically puts out robust updates. Those are the most vulnerable devices. And something like 75% of home-based and small to medium-sized business-based hacks come from their internet router that's just some basic old cookie cutter model from the internet company, or something they picked up at a local store that they just kind of set up and forget. Those devices are so vulnerable to this that the government said, hey, this is a national security risk. The other side of this, Justin, is not only network security, internet security, things like that for hacking, but these tools in the hands of a bad actor or a foreign country. You're talking about FBI, CIA, in a box, Justin. You take 10,000 or 20,000 physical employees from a FBI or CIA agency of 5 or 10 years ago capabilities, and you literally, with a single login to Claude, you can surveil, monitor, collect data, follow people in ways that is unprecedented and cost pennies to put that kind of surveillance, data collection, gathering capability in the hands of foreign bad actors is why the government said, hey, we're pulling the plug on this.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is, and on top of that, there's more weapons capability. They think maybe this could be used to, like bioweapons, few other pieces that make it a really interesting story. Okay, one other thing here, and this is now the impact. So, the company that's made these models, Anthropic, they've been out there for a while now talking about how dangerous their products can be. They have like a different sort of philosophy on this. ChatGPT, OpenAI, they don't talk that way. They never talk about their products being dangerous. So the question is, will AI companies take this as a warning and take that model and that approach? Because if you talk about how dangerous your product is, the government may shut you down. If you don't, and you sugarcoat everything, and you're not authentic about your products and the warnings around them, you get kind of off scot free. So that's going to maybe impact how companies move in the future. Also, it'll impact Anthropic, who I believe is about ready to go public. They're looking at an IPO a little bit later on. So what does this do to their valuation? And what does it do to the company in the future altogether? And again, you've got a government here that looks like they may be picking losers and winners. And I generally am against that, but at the same time, national security interests probably trump everything else. And we're in a completely different territory here with this AI stuff, and folks are rightly, I think, concerned.
Yeah, Justin, you nailed it there with some of the weapon type stuff, Justin. We talked about cyber hacking and things like that, which is a weapon. It is a war against us financially and practically speaking. But with these types of AI, Justin, if you could scan every book that's ever been scanned, and if you can also take inputs from scientists and other people that prompt into these systems so they learn, I guarantee you could trick out of that system, or if it doesn't have the proper guardrails, it would tell you the formula and methodology on how to make cyber weapons, even nuclear weapons, Justin. The technology's been out there so long, the information is there. And remember, they're actively harvesting information from its users. So even if it does have some limits on some top secret stuff, what if somebody actually at a government level or some other level, some smart people have information and prompted and talked to it, and it learns from them? That's the scary part of this, Justin. And to your point with the government and saying this one, yes, that does hurt their value, Justin. But these AI companies, they are pushing the envelope because they know they need to gain market share. They need to win out. and they will do almost anything to do that, whether it's sugar coated or not, or under the guise of transparency. Maybe they think that will be their strategy. It is a Wild West race, and the person that dominates that market share early on in the AI world is supposedly the one that wins.
All right, let's skip to a little lighter topic, a little lighter conversation. These data center debates continue. Obviously, AI continues. We're going to have more of that locally as that continues to develop. But I have to show you video of this if you haven't already seen it, Trent. And folks, you can find this. We'll put it up on the stack a little bit later on today for listening to the radio. Here's Pimba. Pimba is the world's first humanoid robot to climb the 20,000 feet. They're now working on taking this robot to Mount Everest. And I don't know why we need that or why we'd want that, but they can do it, so they are doing it.
7% of the Earth's surface is unreachable by robots. So we're putting Pemba on top of Everest to fix that. My name is Pablo. I dropped out the best engineering school in France to travel across the world to deploy hardware and AI to save nature. I work with WWF in the Congo, in the Amazon, and the tallest mountains, where I figured out what works and what doesn't. There, I saw that everything that works in the lab just fails in the wild. And so that convinced me of something. If we want robots to actually operate in the real world, not just warehouses and sidewalks, we need to transform them. We need to make them.
Wait a minute. This is assuming it's a good idea to have robots everywhere. I think maybe we should start with that. This kid thinks they should be. It's a wild story, and they are going to take this thing to Mount Everest next, but I don't know, Trent. I kind of like to have a little peace and quiet and maybe a little respite from the robots.
Justin, these robots, something interesting to think about. So this is a Unitree G1 robot. Unitree is a company that makes different generations of robots in China. They're a leading maker of robots, and they release these things and updates kind of like Apple would an iPhone. So they have different models, different software releases, and these are they're not open source fully, but they're very designed for users to train them, to work with them, to manipulate them, and they're very interesting projects. Like you can do like this guy here, he's doing this as a project. He's programming this thing, he's working with, he's training it. But what people don't realize is all that information is going back to the Chinese Unitree company, and they're taking all of that information to further their robots under the guise of a public product for the world's access, when really they are owning all of that research and development through the people that can train them. But you can buy one just on Amazon. They're only $50,000.
No, thank you. I'm like, at some point, the Elon Musk, the robot he's building, I think is going to be $30,000, and they're talking about those being everywhere too. Brian says, you don't want HAL 2000 everywhere? Why?
China.
Why not? Yeah. I don't know. Call me old fashioned. I just don't think we need robots everywhere and drones. This is really cool. I was watching it thinking to myself, okay, this is cool, but it's also a little freaky. But there's a TV show on YouTube with the Kent County Sheriff's Department, and they showed last night using a drone to go look for a suspect, and they weren't able to find who they were looking for. It ended up being a situation where they didn't really need it, but they have some pretty interesting capabilities, and they're using it, robots, drones, and it is here, folks. It's not coming. It's here, and it's just another example of the brave new world, I guess, that we're in, and holy cow. I don't know if I love it or not. Trent Kneebe, always a pleasure. Affordable Ice Store, Lake Michigan Drive in Standale, Grand River Tech. Whether you need help with your personal devices or maybe your school, your organization, your church, Trent can help you. Reach out today, affordableicestore.com or grandrivertech.com. Always a pleasure, my friend.
Thanks, Justin. Have a great day.
Hey, you too. God bless. More coming up, folks, as we full speed ahead blast through. There's a big breaking news that came out yesterday about a terror plot foiled by the FBI. You'll get to that. Plus, my favorite thing to watch right now are people from other countries visiting America for the World Cup And they are falling in love. Now, we're told the world hates America, but that's not the story we're seeing behind the scenes. Isn't that something? Check-in markets after this. We're back in just moments on West Michigan Live.
Wherever you are, stream us on your smartphone. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Here are your headlines from the Midwesterner this Tuesday, June 16th. I'm Robin Hoffman. Representative Cam Cavett wants to lessen the sour taste of retail lemonade by preventing state and local governments from regulating children's lemonade stands here in Michigan. The Sheboygan Republican argues young entrepreneurs should not face bureaucratic hurdles for operating small neighborhood businesses. They are out and proud at the library, a Michigan state-funded library group saving the Southgate Pride function after the city refuses to pay for the advocacy-related event. And have you checked your 401k today? A wild day on Wall Street as the markets react to news of President Trump's deal with Iran. Stocks way up and the price of oil down, the Dow gaining 469 points to close at a record 51,671. The price of a barrel of oil down 4%. For these stories and more, visit The Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
What's happening in Iran? All right, folks, full speed ahead. Yeah, I don't know about you, but the robot stuff is kind of that. It's just a little freaky to me. A little. Maybe that's not the word. Maybe I understand it's here. I understand there's kind of no escaping it. But man, the drones in the skies, the robots. By the way, that FBI terror plot that was foiled the other day, it was actually going to involve drones. So there you have it. There's a whole nother piece of all of this that probably should get looked at as well. It's a big one. If you haven't shared yet, make sure you get on and share. Help us break through the noise. And the algorithm. Get these news stories, the truth, logic, and common sense out of the people that need to hear it the most when you help share us online. We love that you do. Make sure that you share. In fact, they get in the running for something cool from the Justin store. The America 250 gear is here. And yes, we have some really cool ones inside the store. So we got teas, we've got mugs and tumblers and all kinds of stuff. And rumor has it there may even be more on the way in the coming days. So now's the time to get in there and get it done. Get it done. If you want to get it, order it now, you can. But if you share the broadcast today, like I said, we make a couple of bucks on this. It's nothing to, like buy me a new robot. It won't be enough. But it will help support the program a little bit here and there. And mostly it's because you wear that stuff when you go out or you bring it with you and people ask you, what's that? Where'd you get that? And then you can tell them all about this program and that helps spread the word. And we'll give you something from inside the store. Somebody at the end of the show will win. Coming up today. It's very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. So that is happening as we speak as well. President Trump not happy with Israel, by the way. Yesterday, the G7, there's this back and forth. Netanyahu came out and said that they didn't fully like some of the things that were happening, the deal with Iran, and they may not be able to go to abide by it. Trump saying this yesterday about that.
Be a great country. It was a country where you had professors, doctors, lawyers. The great intellect was in Lebanon. Now it's terrible. I would say of all countries, they've been treated the worst. And they can't defend themselves. And they have Hezbollah, which is a problem for them. So, now I'm not happy with the way Israel has handled themselves with Lebanon and with Hezbollah. They should have been able to do the job faster. It just goes on forever. And when that happens, it throws a negative light on the big deal, and that's the deal with Iran. So when you ask me about Bibi, an unbelievable relationship. But Israel would have been blown up a long time ago had I not gotten involved. It would be a great country. It was a country.
You have it. That's an interesting back and forth there, and I do believe, as you heard him say, the relationship's still strong. But yeah, I do believe there are some frustrations in this current situation. Let's get the deal done. Let's get the deal done. I think that's essentially what he's trying to say. Let me get this thing done. Quit monkeying with everything. I think that's what I hear him say. Anyway, back at it, folks. Stand by. We're back on the air just moments away from the after show, too. Checking markets. Dow rises fourth day in a row. They had some record-breaking close yesterday, up 224 points now. The S&P up and NASDAQ up. Oil down. In fact, first time it's into the 70s in a long time. Dropping below $80 a barrel for the first time since March. We're below $4 a gallon nationwide for the first time since February. And all of that seeming to be at least having a bit of an impact as I mentioned, the market's rising. And folks probably pretty happy about that. And you'll have a little bit more money in your pocket as well, as it takes the time to trickle in, I guess I would say, into the gas pump. But it's all baked in, and it's all working itself out right now as we keep an eye on that. You're probably trying to keep an eye on your retirement as well. No matter whether you want to retire today, tomorrow, 10, 20 years down the road, you got to make sure, as the roller coaster ride we're on, the market's up and down, it can feel like a bumpy ride. Make sure that you're protected. GuardingYourNestEgg.com. The folks at Talon Wealth, Mike Lester, and the team want to make sure you get there in comfort. And we'll make sure that you know what you need to know. 616-661-1000 is the number. Call Mike and the team today, or GuardingYourNestEgg.com. And they'll help you get there. Coming up on the after show, the show after the show, the FBI thwarting a massive terror plot there at the UFC fight.
This could have been horrific in ways we have never seen.
12 FBI field offices. So thank you if you work for the FBI. Absolutely.
All right, let's get now to Aisha Hasni live in Geneva with the very latest from the G7 summit.
This story is still developing, and it's coming out right now, the details about what they were able to do. But it involved drones, snipers, and all kinds of extra details that you need to hear. But good news. And also during the after show, I'm going to cover it. It's my favorite thing right now, watching people from other countries enjoy America. Something special is happening right now, and I'm here for every bit of it. We'll talk about that coming up in the after show, the show after the show. Fastest hour on radio is flying by. Of course, we start the after show next. The Glenn Beck program is on the way. We're back with you tomorrow. Make it a great one. God bless.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses. We forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, deliver us from evil. God is the kingdom, and our glory forever and ever. Amen. Amen.
WOOD Grand Rapids.
All right, folks, clicking a few buttons, and the after show is on the road. Stand by. Get ready to strap in. It's going to be a heck of a ride. It's like drinking from a fire hose. Never a dull moment, but yes, you'll hear the stories you won't hear anywhere else, and we appreciate you being here with us for them today. I'm Justin Barclay. It's the after show, the show after the show. Full speed ahead. The America 250 gear is here, folks. We'll tell you more about that, how you can grab it, support the celebration. And speaking of celebrations, this story is wild. Secret Service heavily involved in foiling a massive terror plot. And They got over 24 suspects. They tried with drones and apparently snipers as well, part of that program, and the plan to attack the UFC fight the other night and the big 250 celebration. Thank God that was thwarted. As I mentioned, more on that coming up here in just a minute. But in the meantime, thanks to Mike Lindell at MyPillow, mypillow.com/Justin, mystore.com/Justin. If you haven't saved yet, get in and get ready. The Father's Day sale is underway. Plus, you get a chance to get free shipping on everything over $100 with that order. They got great deals. I'm not going to lie to you. I just absolutely love every single bit that Mike makes. And then he's got the My Store stuff. My coffee is incredible. The mattresses right now, I think they still have incredible sales on the mattresses. Let me check. Yeah, they're still, I mean, they got mattress toppers. They got mattresses for like 50% off right now. That deal is still going on. We saw a few people pick up some mattresses on the Memorial Day mattress sale. Folks, if you're looking for savings and you want to support Mike, who's never needed it more, obviously he's in that fight to save his fight to save Minnesota right now is he's running for governor, and you can help support this program at the same time. You get a great deal. You support Mike, you support us. And man, there's never been a better time to do it. Healthwithjustin.com. Maha Missy and the team joining us tomorrow with the latest Maha update. We'll give you the scoop on the stories that they're often hiding from you and your health. I'm back on the Maha mission and this latest phase. Man, I am focused, laser focused in, ready to go. You want to join me on the Maha mission? My wife and I both down 40 pounds, over 40 pounds, feeling great, sleeping better, more energy than ever. Those are just some of the side effects. Some folks are dropping off medications and getting rid of their sleep apnea machines and all of those amazing stories. The details at healthwithjustin.com. You'll see all the before and afters and more. But I love seeing people changed because you can take on the mission. You can take on what we were called to do when you're feeling better, when you are operating exactly how you were created to. Healthwithjustin.com is the best way to get online. 269-964-4044. You call Maha Missy and talk to the team. They'll help you set up and get where you need to go and get that done. But I wouldn't waste any more time. Do it today. We've been putting it off for too long, right? Let's get back to it. Here's the plot, the latest on this story, the FBI disrupting that terror plot.
This could have been horrific in ways we have never seen.
12 FBI field offices. So thank you if you work for the FBI. Absolutely.
All right, let's get now to Aisha Hasni live in Geneva with the very latest from the G7 summit. Hi, Aisha.
Hey there, of course, the president is here and he's got his Secret Service detail with him as well. He's surrounded by world leaders. So security is of the utmost importance. We just got a brand new statement from the U.S. Secret Service. This is actually from the director, Sean Curran, on what happened at the White House, or what they prevented from happening at the White House. And he writes this: our most important responsibility is safeguarding the president and every person under Secret Service protection. The U.S. Secret Service worked closely with the FBI throughout this investigation. In the days leading up to this weekend, our special agents, mission support personnel, and the technical security teams worked around the clock to identify those responsible and hold them accountable. He continues to say, equally important to our protective mission is ensuring accountability through the justice system. To that end, our formal comments regarding the specifics of this case will be made through court filings. So they're going to contribute to the case that is being made against all of these people that have been arrested now, this large group of people that were a part of this situation that has now been foiled. But again, re-emphasizing that security is extremely high here, especially in France, where the president is now with the other G7 leaders. I'm told that 16,000 French soldiers or troops and police officers are safeguarding the area.
I wondered about this fight. It seemed like an opportune event and moment for an attack. But every single one, as we move further and closer towards, the America 250 celebration on the 4th, Independence Day here, every single one of them is going to be in parades in small town America. You're going to see it. You're going to see it, and unfortunately, it's just the world that we live in. But thankfully, and it looks like anyway, these folks are out there doing what needs to be done to protect us. Yeah, I know. I hate to think about it, but I am grateful that the attack was thwarted. Now, here's the other thing. It's also a reminder, probably for all of us, that we really ought to pray. We ought to be thinking about being prayerful in this time here in this country. There's a lot at stake, a lot on the line right now. We ought to be praying each and every day. We ought to be doing this anyway, but we ought to be praying each and every day, for our leaders, certainly the president. We ought to be praying for our cities. These are things that need to be front and center. Front and center. Now, I want to know a little bit more about this particular plan, and I'm assuming we're going to get more information. Again, what we know is encrypted communications linked to 24 participants in a multi-phase attack scheme. At least 5 suspects from multiple states are in custody right now after they detected this threat around June 10th. So the UFC event that was supposed to, or did happen on the White House lawn there on Sunday, is where this took place. What they wanted to do, now this is from things that I've read before, what they wanted to do was they wanted to use drones, and they wanted to fly these drones and cause explosions in surrounding buildings, draw resources away from the UFC event, causing chaos. This is phase 1, explosion, chaos. The goal was to trigger that panic, cause a mass evacuation, create widespread chaos among the 4,300 attendees, including Trump and the other officials. Now, phase 2, the fleeing crowds would be funneled or steered toward a pre-staged sniper team positioned to carry out mass shootings on the panicked evacuees. In phase 3, a ground assault, a second wave of attackers would attempt to storm a White House gate, potentially escalating into a direct breach. The suspects alleged the encrypted signal chats involving 23 people across multiple states to coordinate. Some traveled to Fredericksburg, Virginia, the final preparation site there, on June 12th and 13th, the FBI detecting that threat around the 10th. One suspect reportedly told investigators the goal was to, quote, target capitalist elites, billionaires, and politicians linked to AIPAC donations. At least 5 suspects from states including Ohio, Missouri, California were arrested in rapid multi-state operations involving multi-FBI field offices. The event itself obviously went through without a hitch. And I want to know who these people are, because to me it sounds like, from the little bit of a description we have here, it was a communist plot. That's not being reported in the news just yet. If these are some of the radical leftists, again, some of the radical communist leftists, again, trying to pull off some sort of terrorist threat, I want to know, are they radical extremists? Are they a Muslim extremist? Or what? Who are these people? Are they I don't know. The first arrest they made was in Cincinnati. Do we have a name or description? It doesn't look like it. We're waiting on more details still to come out on this. Federal court records are expected to be unsealed soon, which may reveal more details, including identities, charges, and additional information. So we still don't know. At this time, it's sort of conjecture, but we do know, I think, from some of what we've heard them say, that it is, it's the usual suspects. I mean, that's what it sounds like. Nothing in Michigan, Charlene, that I could see. Nothing. She asked about Dearborn. Nothing in Michigan. All this is the end deal is set to be signed. That's probably the last thing they want to happen. They don't want that to be signed either, because then you got a president. Everybody said he couldn't do it. Well, not everyone, but you know who they are. The left, folks with TDS, even some woke right folks. Yeah, he couldn't do it. This is not going to happen. In fact, some people out there, Tucker's still out there saying like Iran won. Dude, you're posting propaganda, like Iranian propaganda. Some of the mainstream media folks are posting Iranian propaganda. I mean, it's probably a good idea to know if you're being co-opted or if you're a part of it. Posting this Iranian propaganda, they've been busted again.
Literally picks up talking points and propaganda from the RAGC that has no support in the text of the agreement that we've actually negotiated and no basis in reality. This is good for the American people. The Iranians don't get a dime unless they behave and change their behavior. And this means that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, Sean. That's why we did this.
When you say they don't get a dime, do they ever get an American dime, a taxpayer dollar?
No. So number one, first of all, they never get a dime of American taxpayer money, ever. Full stop. Not even close. Okay. What we have said is there's a lot of economic benefit in the United States relieving a lot of sanctions. Literally picks up.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's all of this is obvious. Trump says the deal, and you'll know more about it Friday when it's signed, but he says they'll never be able to close the strait again.
Opened, as you know, they're doing a little hunting for a couple of mines that they've already found. But it's essentially ships are starting to go out now. On Friday, it'll be completely opened.
25 ships a day are now passing through. Officials believe that number will double soon, and that full shipping out of the Gulf is expected to be back to normal in 2 to 3 weeks. Now, we know exactly where the mines are, we're told, and multiple sea routes are already safe and secure for passage. We're also told by senior U.S. officials that there is a mechanism in the deal so that no one can ever close the strait ever again. The proxies don't get a pass either. They're written into the memorandum. If Iran can't control their proxies, no economic relief. They'll have to keep Hezbollah on a leash. But if Hezbollah attacks Israel, Israel can hit back, plain and simple. Speaking of Israel, this deal wasn't without a few bumps in the road.
So, again, I do think some of this you have to wait to see exactly what's in it. But I think some of it we do kind of know. Jesse says he was briefed on the matter, so that gives you some indication as to what's out there and what we're looking at. Scott Jennings breaking it all down, by the way. Yes, I don't know. You could say it any better than what he has said it. He's right. They hate anything that's good.
For the president's 80th birthday. There are, of course, some critics of this. What do you say to them?
People are criticizing something Donald Trump decided to do. Wow, this is breaking news. Look, it's the president's birthday. It's Flag Day, and we're, of course, celebrating America's 250th birthday. And I think it's a pretty cool spectacle. And to have one of the biggest and rising sports entertainment industries in the world be part of it. For American culture, it's a pretty neat thing. And I don't, all week long, I've been listening to Democrats criticize a reflecting pool. They're criticizing having this UFC fight. I mean, virtually anything we're doing to do something cool in Washington, D.C., Democrats are against it because I guess they want to live in misery. But this is fun, and we should have fun.
I agree. It's absolutely insane. And it's just another great example to show you how much they hate America. They hate you. They hate anything good. They hate anything fun. This is who they are. They're a bunch of just killjoys. And they hate it. They hate it when anybody else is enjoying their life. It's misery loves company. That's it. Well, they're going to hate this too. Trump announced a rally on July 4th. The Freedom 250 events, Forbes say, are in turmoil. I don't know about that. But a rally July 4th will happen at the Lincoln Memorial, and a separate kickoff celebration for summer events celebrating the country's 250th anniversary as planned concert series in the Washington, D.C. faltered. Well, a part of it, they had all these old acts that nobody cared about that canceled. And maybe they weren't getting enough money. Maybe they felt like they had some money somewhere else. Maybe they just didn't want to take the heat because their careers are in such a volatile place as it is anyway. I don't know. I just, all I can tell you, and this is it, is that, you know, it's pretty wild to me. And probably maybe the word is obvious more than anything else. Pretty obvious to me when we see this stuff playing out, like what's really going on. And it's harder. It's getting harder and harder for them to hide this stuff now. Why? You know, we got social media. One of my favorite things right now, I don't know if you're seeing any of this. Yesterday, we showed you there's people from all over the country coming, the world right now, coming to watch the FIFA and the World Cup. It's soccer. Not a big soccer fan myself, not a fan of running. But there are people coming from all over the world to watch this stuff right now, and man, they're having a blast. In fact, I am getting a kick out of watching them have so much fun. Of course, Democrats hate this because these people, a whole new base, are learning about how great America is. Isn't that something? And it's so many different reasons for it. It's my favorite thing to see is people discovering these amazing things online right
Friday
now.
night and dominated.
Gio Reyna.
Final score, 4-1. Biggest win in almost 100 years. Everybody came to see America play, even Trudeau. He skipped out on our 51st State's opening game to see his girlfriend, Katy Perry, and watch the boys in red, white, and blue. And in Newsom's state, the Iranians just touched down. They're playing against New Zealand. Now, don't worry. They can only come over the border for the day of the game, and they'll go right back to their hotel in Mexico. Japan's here, too. They played a game in Dallas.
I cannot speak English, but I'm excited!
What do you think of America, of Texas?
Texas is good. Everything is big.
The fans even brought garbage bags and cleaned up before they left. Just like the team, it's tradition for them to leave the locker room spotless. It's all love for the World Cup. The cops are feeling the good vibes too, and the rest of the globe is taking it all in. This World Cup fan from Scotland saw cheerleaders for the first time. His jaw dropped. The European mind can't comprehend Walmart.
It's true.
The biggest tourist attraction I can have as a European. It's like a museum, literally like a museum.
Wait till he sees Buc-ee's. I mean, he'll just lose it.
I mean, look at this. Look at this.
Okay, you haven't had the full American experience until you try the Walmart.
Guys, why is it so big? Like, why is everything huge? Like,
This is insane. Trump cleaned up the country for the United States and the world to enjoy. And people are coming from all over to see America.
There is people walking everywhere. There are women walking alone with fancy handbags, jewelry on, glasses on. They're not being harassed. You got squirrels that haven't been eaten by savages. This place is freaking awesome.
It's so funny because, again, Democrats want to make you think that it's not. The left and the media, but I repeat myself, I've been telling you this ad nauseum for decades now. America's over. I guess all we needed was a new president. America's over. Yet Europeans, people that have never been here, they come here for the first time and they're just amazed.
Look at this. Spotless, clean, safe. This is what it feels like to live in a first world country.
America's stunning, and the world agrees.
Try and tell me that America isn't the most beautiful country in the world. This is crazy.
Stop booking your trips to Ibiza. Stop booking your trips to Dubai. Get over to America. See some real beauty. Good Lord!
Now Europeans wish they could change their birth certificates.
The people, the food, the landscapes, the cars, the trucks, everything in the US simply beats anything I've ever experienced anywhere in the world. I was born in the wrong country. I feel like I belong in the US. My heart is there.
That's another thing. And it has to be said because it's so true. But like, that's the other thing about Americans. We can't forget how special this country is. We can't forget how special it is. You hear about privilege, white privilege, economic, all these privilege. You know what real privilege is? That we were born here and now. Out of all the time in the history of the world, we could have been born in so many different times and places. But we were born here and now, and that says a lot. That says a lot. We've never seen the advancements. We've never seen the opportunity. We've just never seen it like we see it today. And we're constantly told otherwise. Because they don't want you to realize how great America is. They don't want you to realize how great it can be. As great as it is, it can be even better. Now, a lot of that is going to take massive cultural shift and change. A lot of that's just going to take Jesus, okay? It is what it is. I won't mince words. But at the end of the day, it's pretty special here. We got a very good thing going.
Right now, everybody's seeing the best of America, and the whole world's coming together in our country.
We meet so many people that came all across the country, but
I say, hold up, wait a minute.
block man.
Block man.
I'm a block man.
You're a block man.
Foreigners are loving our country more than Democrats. All of us are guilty of this. Sometimes we take America for granted. Europeans are falling in love with our food, landscape, SUVs, our freedom. They're calling us the friendliest people on earth. This is the greatest country on the face of the earth. Everyone else is acknowledging it. We should too, especially Democrats.
But will they? But will they? What a fantastic point. And man, I think something special, something different. We are witnessing it happen right now in a day and age and a time, especially in some of these places, these Europeans coming here, they're watching their countries go down the drain right now. And it's because of the mass migration, illegal immigration. They said they've allowed it there. It's because of those massive cultural clashes that are happening, and the socialism, the climate change, all of that nonsense it tried to push here, and they're doing it obviously, they're doing it. They're doing it already in Europe and some of those places. In the next day or so, maybe we'll talk about what's happening right now with the digital ID and the internet over in the UK. They're trying to push. Oh, man. Talk about concerning. It's a big one. Because they want everybody on this digital ID so they can track in. It's going to be for the kids. Remember that. It's for the kids. And yet somehow they're going to be able to use it to track you, me, and everyone else. Yikes. Hey, congratulations today to Conservatives of Ottawa County Informed. I don't know who you are, but you're our winner today for sharing the program. That's cool. Congratulations. Again, you don't have to be present to win. But we just like that you're here and you share. You help us break through the algorithm buster today, and now that sharing the program always cool. There it is. We and love that. Everyone that's something cool from inside the Justin store, justinbarkley.com. Make it a great day, folks. God bless.